This is Chuck Ridgway, Automation Technology Manager at Horner. Thanks for joining us for another Tuesday live stream. The sound you hear is the Detroit People Mover, if you hear it, and that's running right through the top level of the Huntington Center in the downtown Detroit Convention Center. A unique feature of this convention center is that you have a shuttle going right through every few minutes. But anyway, we're here to bring you our weekly video from Automate, and we're excited to do so. Now, I'm not here on my own. Let's bring out Marcy Tyree, our marketing guru. How are we doing, Marcy?
I'm good, Chuck. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. Now, Marcy usually likes to stay behind the camera and keep me out of trouble, which thank you for doing that so often.
Yes, that's a job in itself.
Absolutely. All right, very good. Now, also with us, come on out, Emily. Take the microphone there. All right. We have Emily Tedder, who is our marketing, I don't know what we're going to call her. She's just extraordinary. How about that? So she has been doing a lot of the editing on our videos and just a talented young professional. So thanks for joining us as well, and you keep me out of trouble also.
Thank you, Chuck. Yeah.
All right, good deal. Okay, so here's what we have planned. So I'll go ahead and finish that part, and you guys can go get back behind the camera where you like to be.
Awesome.
All right. Okay, so I don't have my slides or I'm not in the studio today, so I've got to remember, I think we have 5 things we're going to talk to you about. And let's see, I've got a hand, thankfully, so hopefully I can remember those. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to give you a tour of the booth. Here at Automate, we have several new products that we've recently released, and we have some products that we're previewing for really the very first time at a national trade show. So that'll be exciting. We'll show those to you. All right, the second thing we're going to do is, what's the second thing we're going to do, ladies? Oh, that's right. Here at Automate, we've got a contest going on where as long as you stop by and register at the booth, we're going to give away one of our controllers. So we'll let you know which of our controllers we're going to be giving away. It's one of our most popular models. So stop by, get registered, and you get a chance to win. The third thing, which I do remember, is we have a summer promotion at Horner, summer sales promotion. Now, as most of you know, there's been a big supply chain crisis going on in the industry, and Horner has been doing much better than normal in terms of our competitors, at least, in keeping product delivered. So, unfortunately, we have had to raise prices, though, because component pricing keeps going up. But this summer, we're rolling back the price on one of our automation controllers, and you'll want to find out which one that is so you can take advantage of it. The fourth thing we're going to talk about is the fact that here at Automate, I've got an interview with the manufacturing millennial. That's right, Jake, the manufacturing millennial, as well as Chris with the manufacturing happy hour. So that's going to happen. We're recording this on Monday. That's happening tomorrow, but it's actually going to happen right before you're watching this video. So as soon as we know where you can listen and watch that particular interview, we'll let you know that as well. And then I think the last thing we want to talk about is we're going to have an interview with Robert Valerio, who is our local rep here in Michigan, as well as other parts of the Midwest. And we're going to talk to Robert about what he's seeing in the automation market and get his opinion on things. He's our own millennial because he's of that age as well. And then we have one bonus thing going on, and that is we're going to preview a new video series that we're doing, and you'll see a little, I guess, trailer for that towards the end of today's program. So let's go ahead and get started with our booth tour.
So this first new product isn't so much a new product as it is a new product combination. So we've just added OCS I/O support to the micro OCS family. So here we're showing an X7, which is controlling a rack of OCS I/O with nice fast response time, as you can see here, with just a simple RJ45 cable connecting the two. And not only are we supporting it in the X7 micro OCS, but also, of course, the X4 and also one of my favorite products, which is the X10. So we've got some big news coming on the X10 for this summer, so you'll want to stay tuned as we talk about that a little bit later in the program. Okay, so that is a new product combination, the micro OCS and OCS I/O. Now, as I demonstrate for you our OEE solution, I want to remind you that this is the type of solution that you can strap to the side of your machine or your work cell, and it will give you all kinds of great data, including, efficiency information, good parts, bad parts, if you're down, why you're down. It has a built-in call function available. We have tons of information available from hornersolution.com on this great product. Now, another thing that I will do, however, since I've never really shown you the inside of the panel, I'm going to go ahead and open that up and show that to you now. Okay, the next newly available product here at Automate is IO-Link, as we've covered recently. Here's all the IO-Link products here. What we have is a 4-port IO-Link master shown on the bottom left. That's connected to the XLW Prime. And then we've also got a 2-port IO-Link master that's connected to the X4 here. Okay, now the first IO-Link sensor we have is this photo sensor, which is basically sensing distance. Hopefully you can see that there on the screen. As I move my hand closer to the sensor, the indicator on the screen gets closer or further away, as the case may be. We've also got a tower light that we have the ability to exercise from the IO-Link master. It's got the ability to change colors, to change patterns, all the different things that you can change over the IO-Link connection instead of having to buy a custom tower light. Okay, now in addition to those devices that we're showing there on the XLW Prime, we also have the IO-Link hub, which is shown there at the bottom right. And that guy is used to congregate traditional digital I/O devices like push buttons, pilot lights, and other similar items. Get all that data back to a master. There you can see the pilot lights at the top. And then all that traditional I/O type data goes from the hub to the master and then back to the OCS. So that's another way of integrating traditional type devices to IO-Link. Okay, so that's what we've got going for IO-Link here at Automate. Okay, so next we move to Canvas. Now Canvas is a new product line that's coming. We've previewed it before, but it's really getting polished and we're really getting excited about it. Almost certainly you're going to see this product by the fall. Okay, so here at Automate we're highlighting the 4-inch, which you can see here. Now it still has the function keys, but they're very understated, much more subtle than the current artwork. And the 7D also has the function keys, again, very understated. We've also got the 5 here and the 7. Now, to differentiate between the 7 and the 7D, again, it is dual Ethernet and dual CAN on the 7D as the main differentiator, also an audio port, as in today. The Canvas 7 has one less Ethernet port and no audio for a less cost. All right, now graphics is really what Canvas is all about, so let's take a look at the graphics. We've got a whole set of new operators available: push buttons, slide objects, a new gauge object. We have multiple gauge objects actually. We have selector switches, we have a rotary indicator, all new and available. We have a great recipe object we're showing on the 5. Very powerful object. You'll really like that when you see it. Trending is designed from the ground up. You can do just a ton with the trending. You can have up to 16 pens on the trend, and you can individually deselect pens that you want to get off the screen while you examine a particular trend line on the graph. You can also zoom in. You can also click on the trend once you've isolated the location you want, and it will pop up with the coordinates or the values for those trend lines. So again, trends all rewritten from the ground up. Very cool. Okay, so one other thing we wanted to show you, and we're highlighting it here on the 7D, And that is, there's enough horsepower with Canvas where you can absolutely play help file videos really at a nice resolution and speed, and you can even expand those to the full screen if you want your operator to, maybe learn how to load a part, or maybe a maintenance person learning how to maintain the machine, whatever the case may be. Again, a very nice capability for adding help files to the actual machine control itself. And with the dual core processor, there's no danger of overpowering the processor and slowing down your control. So that's Canvas, the latest preview here at Automate. We're definitely saving the best for last as we preview two new CPUs here at Automate. The first is the CPU 300, which looks like a traditional PLC but is more innovative. It's got a local screen for configuration. It uses OCS for the backplane. It has all the ports you would expect from an OCS, just without the local screen, including serial ports and Ethernet ports and CAN ports, as I point all these out to you. It has USB-A for flash drives. It has USB-C, our first, for programming purposes, micro SD as you'd expect, and in the lower left-hand corner it has a surprise port we'll unleash later. It also has this yellow port you can use for expanding an additional synchronized rack of OCS So that's the CPU 300. Now let's take a look at the CPU 250 on the bottom. That's more of a micro-style product with some built-in I/O and all those ports you'd expect in a micro-type product: Ethernet, CAN, serial ports, etc. It also uses OCS for expansion, even though it does have local I/O and local LEDs as we're showing here. Okay, so that's the CPU 250. Both of these products you should expect about the same time, late in the year, maybe in the fall.
Okay, so I am here with our local factory rep, Robert. Give me your last name properly.
Villarreal, yeah.
I totally butchered it in the opening. Now, I've known you for how long?
It's probably been about 10, 12 years now? Probably about 10 years.
And I still can't pronounce his last name. That doesn't say a lot for me, I will have to admit. All right, let's get to the serious discussion now.
Sure.
All right, so you're on the front lines of working with customers, helping them get products.
Yeah.
Is lead time still probably the biggest thing you deal with on a daily basis?
Yeah, I would say especially for products like the Horner products. We're a manufacturer's representative. We represent a variety of different products, from instrumentation, controls, a little bit of everything. And I would say that lead time is still one of the most important factors. Getting products on time, getting the right products, making things work to get people out of jams. That's a big part of what we have to do every day.
Sure. So, and I know I've told people a lot of times that we're doing better than most. How would you assess Horner's performance for lead times?
It's one of the best we work with. Generally, if it's not on the shelf, it only takes a couple of days to get it. Sometimes maybe a week or two, but definitely up there with some of the best products we work with delivery time-wise.
Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So tell me about some of the different industries you work in, the applications you sell into.
So we do a lot. My business gets into a lot of process instrumentation, so we're in a lot of process-heavy applications. We do a lot of OEM and machine-type applications as well, where people manufacture a variety of different machines. I would say that most of what we do is smaller machines, not larger control systems. Mm-hmm. So the Horner product works really well because typically we have enough I/O built in that we don't have to worry about expanding a ton. And if we do, it's a really simple process to do that.
So I would imagine you've probably picked up some business with Horner at some locations just because of lead time, if nothing else.
Sure. On the control side, especially on the all-in-one side, typically we're having to help customers and guide them through transitioning from a different platform maybe to the Horner platform, which is very easy because it's pretty user-friendly. Mm-hmm. It's easy to pick up. It's free. The software is, so you don't have to really invest a lot in trying it out. So we do pick up a lot of business that way, just by helping people out and getting them product that'll work for their application.
That sounds That's terrific. So what area do you cover with your company?
Yeah, we cover Indiana and all touching states. So Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, Kentucky. So that's the kind of cross that we cover.
Awesome. So Robert Villarreal, who I've known for 12 years, thank you for joining me.
Absolutely, anytime. Yeah, anytime.
Awesome. That's right. And he's working the booth with us this week, so that's a good thing. Our feet are still doing all right. It's Monday.
Doing good, yeah.
But we'll see how they look on Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's time for a little bit of that bonus content. So we're going to present here a trailer or a preview of a new video series we're doing on Horner application stories. A bunch of us sat down and we got together and we talked about some of the most interesting applications we've been involved in over the years, why they were fun to participate in, why our products were a great fit. It's just an interesting new series that we're going to be presenting to you over the upcoming weeks, and this is a little bit of a preview. Check it out.
Hello, this is Chuck Ridgway, Automation Technology Manager at Horner. Thanks for joining us. Today we're starting a series on application stories. So I'm fortunate enough to be joined by several of my colleagues here at Horner, and I'm going to introduce them to you shortly. And we're going to tell you about a whole variety of different applications that we've been involved in over the years using Horner automation products. Let's get started with the introductions. All right, let's start with our president, Mr. Phil Horner. How are you doing today, Phil?
I'm doing well. It's Monday.
Terrific. So what year did your parents found our parent company, no pun intended, Horner Electric?
Well, that was done in 1949 after my dad came home from World War II.
All right, so our 75th anniversary will be next year?
Yep.
Awesome. What year did you...
And I'll be 70 next year.
Okay. So 2 big anniversaries. What year did you start the automation company? Or the
Well,
automation division, I should say.
There's the official start date and then there's the real start date. As you know, at any time that you start a business, there's always a time period that you're testing to be sure it's viable. And I think I'm still working on that today. But that's another topic. The 1975 was when we started working with the wastewater treatment and EPA upgrading wastewater plants.
Okay.
And at that point in time, we were just doing, because of my motor background, we did drives and controls. So that's where we got started into automation.
Okay. So you got started around 1975. So when you kind of formalized it and you said, hey, this is viable, we're going to get more heavily into this, at what point did you actually start developing products in automation?
So it was in 1985 with the Series 1 GE PLC, we created the first analog input module that did set point or comparator management to a digital I/O. And we were doing it only for ourselves, and then other companies wanted to buy it, which is what created APG today.
Got it. So for those of you who are younger than most of us up here, back in those days there were some PLCs that didn't have analog support, or at least they didn't have it for a while. So that first set point module you made allowed an analog signal to be connected to it, and then you would use potentiometers to set on and off points for the analog signal for maybe doing pump control and those sorts of things.
Exactly.
Okay, very cool. Okay. Our next employee I want to introduce you to is Ken Janata Jr. How are you doing today, Ken?
Very good, thank you.
Ken is our R&D manager, and as our R&D manager, he's responsible for not only helping to guide our engineering team, but helping to guide some of our technology decisions. You know, which microprocessors should we use, what networking technology should we use, those sorts of things.
And keep me out of trouble.
Yes.
And to keep Phil out of trouble, for sure. So, Ken, what year did you start at Horner?
1994.
All right. So, if I remember correctly, early in your career, you were involved in one of the earliest versions of Cscape, which is our program application software. Is that correct?
That's right, I started the DOS version of it in 1994. It was later ported to Windows, and then I spent 10 or 12 years working on the Windows version of it.
And if I remember correctly, you, for a while at least, you were pretty much the Cscape guy, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. So today, about how many people do we have working on Cscape?
Just on the PC side, there's about 15 people working on it.
Wow, and that doesn't include the test team, which is involved with it pretty heavily
Absolutely,
as well.
yes.
Okay, awesome, terrific. So saving the best for last, we've got Casey Gardner, our product manager. Casey, what year did you start at Horner?
Sure, I started in.
Which time?
We won't mention that part, but it's 2015 out of college in our tech support department.
Very good. So as the product manager today, and you've been product manager since
Early last year.
Since early last year, so about a year. So as the product manager, Casey is responsible for all of our automation products, from implementation all the way to release and then even to obsolescence. So if you've had a Horner product obsoleted in the last year or so, you can blame Casey for that one. But anyway, as the automation technology manager, I've been with Horner for about 33 years now. So if you add that up between the group, that's well over 100 years, and we've got lots of applications to tell you about.
And I think there's a good story behind that one.
Okay.
We were a GE distributor, and GE required us to have an applications engineer. And I hired Chuck out of Michigan to be our applications engineer. And before he even started, which was probably 6 months after we decided to hire him, we lost the distributorship because they wanted us to focus on developing product, which continues today.
You got it.
So he was hired and had a job change even before he joined us.
Absolutely. So my first position was completely gone by the time I started. But actually, I will have to admit, the position I got was a lot more fun than the one I signed up for originally. So anyway, we've got lots of applications to tell you about throughout this series.
Okay, as we mentioned in the open, we're running a promo this week in the booth at Automate. So if you're one of those lucky folks who can make it to Detroit, Michigan this week, stop by the show, stop by our booth, and register, and you'll be entered with a chance to win a new Micro OCS Model X7. That's right, a Micro OCS Model X7, one of our most popular models of OCS all-in-one controllers. Now, if you can't make it to Detroit this week, or you'd like to have your destiny in your own hands and not depend on chance, well, you can always participate in our case study program. Just fill out some information on your application, take a couple pictures. There's not a lot of information we need, but if you can complete the process, which is really a piece of cake, then you will earn a free Micro OCS as well. So lots of ways you can get some free all-in-one control equipment from Horner, but if you can, stop by the booth here at Automate and register for that X7 Micro OCS giveaway. Next, we want to tell you about a sales promotion for the Micro OCS X10. That's our largest model in the Micro OCS family. It's got a sleek 10.1-inch widescreen display. It's a really nice unit. It's been out for a couple years or so, but it has, like a lot of products, been impacted by price increases because of the supply chain issues that we all are undergoing these days. We have kept the product flowing, but we have had to increase the price. But for this summer, for a limited time, you'll be able to source this product at a rolled back special price. So don't miss this opportunity. As we wrap up this week's program, I want to remind you that we've got what we think is some pretty good content for next week. So next week, we're going to show you the installation we did on an AC power monitor and an OCS that we installed in our production department on our reflow oven. Now, this is a system that's used to monitor energy parameters, to perform energy management, and we'll not only show you how to hook it up and what kind of data you're going to get out of it, but we'll show you a real-world application while we do so. Now, another cool thing is we're actually going to show you the new trending capability in Canvas, because this is a great opportunity or a great application to show that off. So you won't want to miss next week. And until next week, let's all get out there and do us some good.